Come and dream with me.
Hello and welcome to What Do You Want to Watch, the Explosion Network's premier media podcast. Every week we get together, talk about movies, TV, and online content, and help you answer the question, can you believe that last week we talked about maybe doing like a rewatch of all the Grinch movies for this season of Very Explosion Network Christmas. And then they announced plans for a new Grinch film. Unbelievable. I'm your host, Ashley, but joining me today, Dylan Blatt.
So maybe we should wait.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to delay those plans. So yeah, if you haven't heard, apparently Jim Carrey is in talks to reprise his role as the Grinch in a new film directed by Ron Howard. The untitled sequel will have a script by Alec Berg, Jeff Schaffer, and David Mandel. The trio also worked on the Dr. Seuss 2003 Cat in the Hat with Mike Myers. Yeah, good idea? Bad idea?
Let's say we'll see.
Yeah, very interesting. Let's see. It's 26 years since the first film, since the Grinch film. And makeup and hairstyling has gone a long way, so I'm sure it'll be easier for Jim Carrey to be the Grinch now.
They hated it, so
maybe getting into all the different costumes and stuff for Sonic has made him go,
maybe
it's much easier now. I could probably handle it again. But also he is 26 years older than he was then. I don't know if he's going to be able to energetically do the same things he was doing in that film. So that's my only concern. What is this even? What is this movie going to be about? Is he going to be a dad now? Because he got with that other Tucci.
Well, that's
right?
the thing. I mean, the whole thing is you have a movie about a guy who's trying to ruin Christmas, and then by the end he's like okay with Christmas. Yeah, what is it? What's the point?
Maybe it's the movie's got to be the opposite, where he has to ruin Christmas because when his heart grew 3 sizes, it kind of expanded his chest, and now he's got a serious health condition.
Wow,
that's what I would do.
You went dark.
Yeah, the Grinch needs to go back to ruining Christmas. All right. Do you know? It's actually a horror movie. The Grinch teams up with Krampus. All right. On today's episode, we'll be talking about what's in watch history, going over some film news, giving thumbs to trailers, and giving this week's top 3. Kicking things off, we are fresh off watching the debut episode of the latest season of House of the Dragon. Of course, the Game of Thrones spin-off, the original Game of Thrones spin-off. We return to Westeros with Rhaenyra trying to reclaim the throne from her brother, I guess. There's the Greens and there's the Blacks, and they're at war. Dylan, what do you think of the first episode of Game of Thrones? No, House of the Dragon.
That's it. Super strong premiere that felt like a penultimate episode in terms of action, scale, and death and shocking moments. Like all the things you'd usually expect in that penultimate episode for a Game of Thrones or Game of Thrones spin-off show. So really good, really strong season premiere for the season. And didn't feel like totally necessary because didn't hate the second season, but I guess due to a lot of complaints about the slower second season, which was due to a combination of different things. Starting out on such a strong, action-heavy episode, so many things happening, felt good to help squander some of those fears that people might have about the show, I guess.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the opening episode as well, like starting with a bang, like really attention grabbing opening episode to set the standard for, I guess, what we're going to see this season. Lots of big character moments and big swings, and you definitely showcased what kind of universe this is set in, because nobody is safe except a few people that we know will be safe. Who are too big to kill off, but really enjoyed it. Visual effects still highly up to snuff. I mean, there is one shot of a dude with a severed head that does look like a prop and not like an actual human head, but I'll let it slide. There's only so much you can do without actually cutting somebody's head off. So yeah, House of the Dragon. We'll be talking about it over on our Game of Thrones podcast, South of King's Landing. So be sure to check that out each week to hear our thoughts on each episode of House of the Dragon. In other cross-promotional stuff, we have also watched Toy Story 5. You can listen to our full spoiler discussion over on Animated Wonders, where we have been rewatching all the Toy Story films. But obviously this latest film follows Jesse, who's now the sheriff of Bonnie's room, and is dealing with the introduction of Lilypad, who is a tablet who is having adverse effects on Bonnie's life as she is trying to make friends. Dylan, what do you think of Toy Story 5?
Yeah, look, it's a Toy Story movie. Visually very good as they all are. It's still fantastic time to spend with all these characters, and it's still a lot of fun. It's just one of these series where, unfortunately, I think because the caliber's so high, you enter this realm of like that was a lot of fun. I had a great time with that. Got some chuckles out of it. Generally made me feel good. I enjoyed the whole. It's not quite anti-tech, but questionable on tech storyline and everything, but because the quality of the rest of the films is so good, this one feels a little bit let down. And I feel like maybe I feel about this one that the way that people felt about 4, whereas I liked 4. And watching that in the cinema and then coming out and people being like, man, maybe it's time to wrap up this franchise. And I was like, oh no, I thought that was really good still. So maybe that's sort of how I feel with this one.
Yeah, I think it is a good film. I don't think it's not my favorite of the franchise. But again, that's coming in fresh in a franchise that has had banger after banger after banger. I think it clearly sets up the idea of like toys versus tech, play against, playing with toys or playing with games and that kind of stuff, but it doesn't really follow through on it being obviously it's not going to provide a solution to all our problems, but I feel like it kind of like pivoted to the tech kind of accepting it's bad like pretty quick. There is a really oddly feeling B plot that's runs through most of the film that like you just kind of wait to see how it's going to how is this going to blend in with the A plot to like come together throughout the film. And then it is a little bit distracting because it just kind of each time it jumps, it just kind of pulls you out of
constantly like, why are we here? How's this going to pay off?
Yeah. Every time it's always how's this going to pay off rather than that's cool what they're doing in this sequence. I think it is still very beautiful. There are some obviously it just goes to show how far this medium has gone forward. We compare the first movie to this one, and there's a girl with curly black hair, she is bouncing around with, that they would not have attempted to animate back in the day because it would look terrible, as well as live animals and that kind of stuff. I think the introduction of Smarty Pants, a potty machine to help train kids to go to the potty, played by Conan O'Brien, is a delight. I think it is, I don't think it has a number of emotional moments. I think there is one key one that hit me and Dylan at the time, but outside of that, I think it's a lot of fun. So, and unsurprisingly, people went to go see it. Made looking through the numbers, $312 million worldwide, which is the highest grossing global debuting weekend for both the franchise and Pixar. So this people still, despite what people will say about franchise fatigue and that kind of stuff, this is still going strong. I feel like the gaps between each one are also why this isn't getting the franchise fatigue that people are expecting. It's not like Fast and Furious, where it definitely was slowing down at a certain point and not getting as much return as they once were. I feel like because they're like 5 to 7 years apart, most of these films, outside of the first two, that's enough time for a new batch of kids to grow up and want to go see movie that a new version of the movie they've been watching on streaming on the big screen. So, a Toy Story 6, I don't think is out of the question. And yeah, I good on them. I guess Pixar, especially in this climate, like making sure that they're a valuable resource and like studio and like not giving Disney any reason to like make massive cuts at there or whatever. So yeah, so head over to Animated Wonders to hear our full thoughts on Toy Story 5. All right, Dylan, you've watched a film called Undertone.
I have. So Undertone, I had on my watch list for a while, just waiting for it to be available to rent properly. It is a very interesting thriller horror movie. I don't know, psychological horror, I guess. I don't know. Close to home, Ash. It's about a podcaster. Yeah. So
I'm sure nothing bad happens to them.
yeah. So it's about this woman who is looking after her mother, who's basically in a home hospice, I guess, to a degree. You very quickly get the sense that she's on her way out, and her daughter's just sort of looking after her. But what she also is doing is she's recording a podcast with her friend who lives some ways away, and their podcast is all about creepy or like they're talking about weird shit, I guess is the thing. But they play up roles of like she's meant to sort of play more of the skeptic and he's meant to play into the believer role and whatnot, and it's called the Undertone podcast. And what happens is they get sent an email from someone who's like, hey, here's these 10 audio files, are really creepy, don't play these, or something like that. And they begin listening to these audio files, and sort of the film gets weirder from there for what's happening. The really cool thing about this one that makes it so unique and really quite good is that it is a movie that is actually sort of more reliant on the audio experience than it is the visual experience, which is quite interesting for a visual medium, I guess. But like very early in the film, you get the sense that audio is going to be more important because as soon as she sits down to record the first episode, about 10 minutes into the movie or whatever, she chucks on her headphones and straight away, because in noise cancelling headphones, it's like they just zoom, like all the sound sort of goes. And then when she sits down in front of her mic, like the voice sounds very like it's coming directly from the podcast recording mic. So it's like you're hearing everything sort of directly from the podcast in comparison to the audio being mixed for the general normal movie soundscape. And then when they're playing these audio files, you're sort of hearing them in that sort of way. And then stuff they start to hear, the way it sort of all plays out means that I was definitely appreciated having a better sound system for the movie is what I would say. I was reading about it afterwards, like how, because the audio design was so interesting. So it's Ian Toussaint is the director, writer, director. This was his like feature debut. However, he had previously done, I don't know if it says here, I can't remember exactly what it was, but he'd worked on some VR stuff, and he'd done a lot of work in like working with VR sounds, like obviously 360 sound. So when he went to do this movie, he sort of implemented a lot of the stuff he had done working on those sorts of projects and implemented into this to try and create this very and apparently he also, I was reading, he wrote the script and he wrote the sound design into the script. So it's like if they're listening to one of these audio files and say there's like someone coming down the stairs in the audio file they're listening to on the podcast, he wrote into the script where you would hear it within the sound design, which I thought was all very interesting to read about. Yeah. Yeah, look, it's not going to be for everyone because a lot of it is just people sitting in front of, like, the performances are good and everything, and like it's not like they're sitting there recording these podcasts the entire time. They break. She gets freaked out. These things they're listening to, they break. This has to go look after her mother. Some other things are happening and whatever else. But it is a very, like, you got to sort of, it's the audio part of it is definitely a big part of the film. By the end of it, I guess you could take its direction in two ways. You could take the film as a literal and metaphorical thing. I honestly feel like it's meant to be more of a literal thing, simply because I don't know, how many times can we have metaphorical things? Like I was like, I don't know. I think it's meant to be sort of literal, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really, really good. I think it's just very unique and different, and I found that to be quite a good watch. I looked it up also after when I was reading up. He's the Ian Toussaint's been apparently tapped to direct Paranormal Activity 8 as the so that's interesting.
That is. I didn't know they got update.
Yeah. They had a break for a while, so
Well, it feels like it's been forever since there was a last Paranormal Activity film. Yeah, because they used to like crank them out, right?
Yeah, like one a year basically.
Let's have a quick look. Franchise, that would help. The last one came in 2021. Paranormal Activity Next of Kin. I do remember seeing that poster with the I don't know, weird skull. So yeah, good for you. 2000. It's still slated for May 21, 2027. So all right. Dylan, you also watched a new documentary that came to ABC iView. Rolf Harris, Predator, Primetime Predator.
Primetime, yeah. Yeah, so this was an interesting one. I thought was a good watch about a terrible person, obviously. Rolf Harris, I feel like most Australian or UK people would know who Rolf Harris is, especially if you're around or like if you're old enough. I don't know if anyone's too young to be listening to us, but anyway, if you like when his court case and everything was happening, obviously, and then through to his death a couple of years ago. But this sort of they do a good job of tying in and explaining, well, not even explaining, but just doing a good job at showing the system of which enabled him somewhat, or like the ability that someone like him is able to he's someone who moves to the UK, starts this whole, kids entertainer thing, and then, is very touchy-feely with girls, very like forward, very like, just it's the Aussie larrikin, sort of way and all that sort of stuff. But then, of course, it comes to light that he was a child predator amongst other things, and how he got there and what people were involved in getting him there. The documentary, the 2 episodes make sure to mention, of course, he was friends with Jimmy Savile, and there's a part in the documentary where you get to see him and Savile on the TV show together talking to this little girl, and they're like passing it. Jimmy Savile's like, now Rolf House will look after this little girl here for you, make sure you take good care of her and all that sort of stuff, like on this TV show they're doing or whatever. All just stuff that's very obviously disgusting and weird to think about in the context now between both these people. But yeah, I would recommend watching it. Just be aware that it's hard, tough subject matter at times. But yep.
All right. All right, let's move into the mandatory Netflix segment of the show. And I watched the big Netflix release of the weekend, Voicemails for Isabel, starring Zoe Deutsch and Nick Robinson. Zoe Deutsch plays a aspiring baker called Jill, who has a sister who's had cystic fibrosis most of her life, who they bond with each other, become very, very close. I think essentially being each other's best friend. They have their own in jokes and things that they talk about. They refer to each other as brothers and call each other lad, and all these like small, like intricate little things that only siblings have. And at the beginning of the film, her sister dies abruptly when she's in San Francisco trying to make it as a baker, but is really just a prep cook for this douchebag chef played by Nick Offerman. She is left like mostly cutting kumquats during the day. So as a coping mechanism to deal with her, her sister's passing or all the terrible relationships she finds herself getting into, she starts leaving voicemails on her sister. Unbeknownst to her, her sister's phone number has been reassigned to somebody else. It's reassigned to, what is the dude's name? That's not a good sign. Wes, played by Nick Robinson, who's like a real estate guy in Austin, which is her hometown. He starts listening to the voicemails that she leaves and kind of like falls for her over the phone and like gets invested in her and decides he's going to go to San Francisco and meet her, and then like using the information like starts a relationship with her. So yeah, that's a setup, and you can probably see where that's going, like how that's going to play out. But I enjoyed it for the most part. I think Zoe Deutsch is incredible, and like she is clearly a lot of effort in this film is like put into her story and like her background. She feels like this very unique, super enjoyable to watch character, and like very much plays to the strengths that Zoe Deutsch has. Like she has a bunch of like rants where she just tells people off for different things that they've done against her and that kind of stuff, and like yelling at people in like these weird awkward situations. It kind of reminded me of her in the setup and that kind of stuff. Nick Robinson's character is not as developed. He is very much set up as a sad boy who, quote unquote, doesn't know how to love and goes from girl to girl and that kind of stuff. And he says he has past trauma, but apparently the only part of trauma is his mother died younger in his life, and now he's in his mid to late 20s and he still isn't an adjusted person. But I feel like, yeah, the main focus is on Jill. And weirdly, I feel like despite it being a rom-com, this is weirdly this story about someone overcoming their own grief. And like coming to start living life again and taking their own chances and that kind of stuff. So I think if you're going into this expecting it to be just a rom-com, I don't think you'll be super fulfilled. But I think, if you're wanting something that's got a few other different themes in it, this is pretty good. And my other big thing is I feel like it's definitely heavy on the needle drops. And not just the needle drops, like the very prominent, potentially overused song needle drops. At least for me, like there's like at the end, the dude's running to where she is with fireworks going on in the background, and it's fucking Benson Boone's Beautiful Things. It's like, mate, I've seen a billion TikToks like sense that song. It's like it's like kind of taking me out of this movie. But yeah, it's great, kind of held up by the chemistry of the actors and that kind of stuff. So I can understand why it's I believe it's number 1 on Netflix this week. So and if that sounds like something you want to watch, go check it out. Dylan, you just finished watching I Will Find You, a new miniseries on Netflix.
Yeah, it's based on a book. I don't have it in front of me, but the basic premise is it is a man wrongfully convicted in prison type story, which is sort of its genre in and out of itself that you can sort of enjoy if you're into that sort of stuff. But Sam Worthington plays the guy. He is in prison, has been serving 5 years in prison for the murder of his son, of which he didn't do. And then Britt Lauer from Severance fame shows up, and she has she shows him, she's just recently discovered a picture, and in the background of the picture is a boy who looks strikingly similar to Sam Wickham's apparently dead son, thanks to a very unique birthmark that's on his cheek. And then following that picture being shown to him and him beginning to question some things and talk to some people, all of a sudden there's people in prison trying to kill him. There's all this conspiracy nonsense that starts. And then, by the end of the first episode, he's breaking out of prison thanks to help with some people and sort of on the run while he's trying to figure out who, is his son actually alive? Where is he? Who's got him? Why is people trying to kill him now? Why is this conspiracy theory leading to this point and pointing to this person? Then you have the FBI, of course, get involved. Then you've got this FBI duo partners who happen to be father and daughter chasing after him the whole season while he's, trying to piece everything together before the clock runs out sort of thing. I enjoyed it for what it is because it's just generally a sort of a very easy watch to do. However, I'd say the writing falls very quickly into Netflix's writing for people on their phones thing. There are so many times the things are just, and I just notice it now too, where it's like something will be visually on the screen and you know what it says. And they'll be like, someone will be like, well, that means we should go there because of the thing and the thing and the thing. And I'm like, I know. Like you don't need to have the character actually explain. So that was the only thing that was quite annoying me. Performances wise and everything, I thought everyone was quite good in it. But it's a generally like half-hour episodes. Like there's it's the last 6-7 minutes I always credit. So they're basically 30-minute episodes of quite an easy, quick watch,
All right. And then we've both watched one of the big documentaries of the week, potentially the year, Maternal Instinct, which opens with a woman named Taylor Parker being pulled over by police, starting with body cam footage as she's pulled over for erratic driving. And when the police opens the car door to check her out, she claims that she says she has given birth inside the car and that she is going to the hospital. There is a baby on the floor of the vehicle. And there is apparently an umbilical cord still attached. But when they take her to the hospital, she refuses to be attended to by any doctors, like to check her out for anything, which raises a bunch of red flags. And when they do finally when she does finally allows a doctor to perform a vaginal exam, he tells the doctors point blank, he tells the police point blank on body cam footage, this woman did have a baby. So that's the setup of this documentary about a woman who starts a relationship with a guy called Wes, coincidence, who then eventually tells him she's pregnant. And that is just the tip of the lies that she is spreading. Dylan, what do you think of Maternal Instincts?
It's an absolutely wild watch from start to finish, and hooks you in very quickly with what the fuck is going on and how do we end up in here and what's happened, and then it becomes just very fucked up and sad by the end of it. And I'm still just don't fully understand that woman's mental state or how you even get to such a position or state in your life, or how you build a life on so many lies and dreams and just dream world that you're living in, where all these things will just play out the way they are, and the way she consistently continues to try and unravel the wheel along it goes. It's terrible, but it makes for a good, entertaining watch.
Entertaining.
I mean,
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's kind of messed up. I think it's a very interestingly well put together documentary. Obviously, they got a lot of the key figures involved. I think, having her boyfriend, like, there talking about the events that took place is, like, pretty crucial. And thankfully, I think there's only, like, one, outside of Taylor herself being in the documentary, I think there's only one other key figure who's not included for, probably it's still too raw and fresh for them. But yeah, I think it's constructed in a really good way. I kind of had an inkling how this thing was going to play out. Like, uh, did you guess how she got the baby? Like pretty early on, I guess.
No,
No,
because
okay.
why? I don't know why I would assume that.
See, the funny thing is, I had there was an episode of the TV show Private Practice where a similar kind of story happened,
Okay.
and that I like on the Instagram Reels or something like that scene had come up for some reason recently. So my mind automatically went to, oh, that must be what happened, you know, which is messed up. And who knows, maybe that's where she got the idea. But yeah, just the level of lies and deception, and just also him just going along with a lot of her obscure and weird requests. Because clearly she is wearing like a silicone stomach or whatever. So there is the fact that for 9 months he never saw her naked because she wouldn't let him see her, didn't want him to clearly see the fake belly. So all those kind of pieces together, I think the most heartbreaking thing is who the victim of the crime is. And I think for me, I didn't, it, in all of these, you like see the puzzle pieces kind of come together. And that was one that did not click straight away. I was like, why are they interviewing these people? It seems very weird that these people who are tangentially related to her life are suddenly in this documentary and being interviewed. Like both the mom and the sister is like really weird. But no, that was foreshadowing for all the terrible, sad events that were going to play out later, and the hurt that was going to be inflicted upon them. So yeah, I would say it's maybe hard to watch for certain people, just because it is like, put it bluntly, a child dies in this. The baby does not survive. So that's that part there. But yeah, it's a fascinating story that you kind of wish you could understand the rationale behind it. All right, that's everything in our watch history. Let's move on to a little bit of film news. And the 66th TV Week Logie Award nominations have been revealed this week. So we're going to run through the nominations. And Dylan, you're going to guess. Sorry, not guess. Predict who's going to win each of these major categories.
Yeah, I can't. My favorite award shows of the years back.
Yeah. I mean, they're the second biggest Australian award show of the year. You know?
After the actors?
After the actors, yeah. Which is probably more prestigious and accurate. All right, for the Gold Logie for most popular personality in Australian television, we've got Ali Langdon, Julia Morris, Lisa Miller, Po Ling Yao, Robert Irwin, Sam Pang, and Todd Woodbridge.
Robert Irwin, I guess. it's whatchamacallit voted, so
yeah, I mean it's fan voted. I think that's probably accurate, especially, I mean, I don't think Australians saw it this year, but he was on Dancing with the Stars in the last 12 months, so I feel like his just general,
and he was a guest on MasterChef.
Just his general profile has grown exponentially this year, so
people love him.
The Bert Noon Award for Most Popular Presenter, you got Amanda Keller for The Piano, Hamish Blake for Lego Masters, Julia Morris for I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, Larry Abner for The Chase, Lisa Miller for Muster Dogs, and Robert Irwin for I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here.
Robert Irwin.
Graham Kennedy Award for Most Popular Talent, Most Popular New Talent, Andrea Lamb for The Piano, Eloise Hart for Goolagong and Mystery Road Origin, Lila Maguire for Goolagong, Rowan Witt for Ghost Australia, Stuart Broad for The Ashes, and Tamala for Ghost Australia.
Go again.
Andrea Lamb for The Piano, Eloise Hart for Goolagong and Mystery Road Origin, Lila Maguire for Goolagong, Rowan Witt for Ghosts Australia, Stuart Broad for The Ashes, and Tamala for Ghosts Australia.
I feel like I don't know most of these things. So let's just go Mystery Road.
Okay, Eloise Hart.
Yep, that one.
The Ray Martin Award for Most Popular News and Public Affairs Presenter. Ali Langdon for A Kind of Fair, The Great Debate and Election 2025. David Spears for Australia Votes 2025 and Insiders. Carl Stefanovic for Today. Michael Usher for 7 News and 7 News Spotlight. Sarah Abbo for Today, and Sarah Ferguson for 7:30 and Australia Votes 2025.
Australia Votes.
Yep. But which presenter?
Oh, I can't remember those. Read them again. I'll pick one.
Ali Langdon, David Spears, Carl Stefanovic, Michael Usher, Sarah Abbo, or Sarah Ferguson.
I don't care about anyone. Number 3.
Do you know who number 3 was?
No.
Carl Stefanovic. Do you want to guess again?
No, I'm not picking that one. Number 2.
David Spears.
Sure.
For Australia. Yeah, okay. New category for this year. The Bruce McAvaney Award for Most Popular Sports Presenter. Interesting to have this award named after. I mean, worthy.
Who the fuck is that?
Fuck you. Bruce McAvaney, a sports voice for generation for...
Who the fuck that is? Is it a golfer? Footballer?
Nominees are,
cricketer.
interestingly, no. I don't think he actually played any sport. He was just a
What a
commentator.
fake.
That's a elitist.
He just talks on a microphone? What a fucking loser.
It doesn't do the thing that he talks about? Yeah.
What a loser.
Interestingly, Bruce McAvaney nominated this year with Danica Mason, Eddie Maguire, James Bracey, Yelena Dokic, and Ricky Ponting.
Ricky Ponting.
Is that the most prominent name of that list you know?
Yep.
Okay.
Cricketer.
Who actually played the sport?
Actually played it with the old bowler. No, he was actually hit the bat, didn't he? Whatever we call that. He was a front stumper.
He was a front stumper. Fucking hell. All right. Silver Logie, Best Lead Actor in a Drama Series. The nominees are Hunter Page Lockard for Reckless, Jacob Elordi for The Narrow Road to Deep North, Mark Cole-Smith for Mystery Road Origin, Rob Collins for RFDS, Sam Neill for The 12 Cape Rock Killer, and Stephen Peacock for RFDS.
What was the second one?
Jacob Elordi for The Narrow Road to
that
Deep
one.
North.
Yeah.
Can you listen closely?
I'm still stuck on front stumper. Sometimes I say things and I'm like, where'd that come from?
Best Lead Actress in a Drama. The nominees are Aisha D for Watching You, Brooke Satchwell for Dear Life, Lila McGuire for Goolagong, Odessa Young for The Narrow Road to the Deep North, Tululi Narkle for Mystery Road Origin, and Yaren Ha for The Survivors.
Narrow Road to the Deep North.
So Odessa Young.
Yep.
Best Supporting Actor in a Drama Series. Clarence Ryan.
No front stumper.
Mystery Road Origin. Damien Garvey for The Survivors. Dan Henschel for The Family Next Door. Simon Baker for The Narrow Road to the Deep North. Thomas Weatherall for Heartbreak High. And Thomas Weatherall for The Narrow Road to the Deep North.
Narrow Road to the Deep North. Simon Baker.
Okay. Best Supporting Actress in a Drama. Catherine McClements for The Survivors. Claudia Carvin for Homebodies, Eleanor Matsura for Dear Life, Heather Mitchell for The Narrow Road to the Deep North, Philippa Northeast for The Family Next Door, and Robin Malcolm for The Survivors.
Clara, what's the name?
Claudia
What's the
Carvin?
That one. Yep.
Okay. Best Actor in a Comedy. Ben Miller for Austin, George Zhao for Ghost Australia, Leon Ford for Dog Park, Matt Day for Strife, Matt Theo for Austin, Michael Theo for Austin, and Michael Bisley for Deadlock.
Michael Bisley, Deadlock.
Best Actress in a Comedy. Ashley Keddy for Strife, Sheila Pasquale for Dog Park, Denise Scott for Mother and Son, Kate Box for Deadlock, Madeline Sammy for Deadlock, Michelle Brazer for Ghost Australia.
Kate Box, Deadlock.
Okay. Best Drama Program. Dear Life, Heartbreak High, Mystery Road Origin, RFDS, The 12, Cape Rock Killer, or Watching You.
Mystery Road.
Okay. Best miniseries or television movie. Goolagong.
Television movie.
Goolagong, Homebodies, Mixtape, The Family Next Door, The Narrow Road to the Deep North, and The Survivors.
Narrow Road to the Deep North.
Mm-hmm. Best Entertainment Program. Australian Idol, Dancing with the Stars, The 1% Club, The Floor, The Piano, Tipping Point Australia.
2.
Dancing with the Stars?
Sure.
Best Current Affairs Program. 60 Minutes, 7:30, A Current Affair, Australian Story, Four Corners, and Today.
Four Corners.
Yeah. Best Scripted Comedy. Austin, Deadlock, Dog Park, Strife, The Artful Dodger, Top End Bub.
Deadlock.
Okay. One of the most important categories of the night.
Mm-hmm.
Best Comedy Entertainment Program.
Cheap Seats.
The nominees are Gruen Nation, Guy Montgomery's Guy Mont Spelling Bee, Hard Quiz, Have You Been Paying Attention, The Cheap Seats, The Front Bar. I mean, nominated this year. Yeah. Okay. Good for Dylan.
It's good for me.
Best Comedy Reality Program, Big Brother, I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, Lego Masters, Grandmasters of the Galaxy, Love Island, MasterChef Australia, and The Block.
MasterChef.
I don't know why is Lego Masters like added that extra subtitle?
Grandmaster.
Grandmasters of the Galaxy.
Yeah, I don't know. Just make it sound cooler, but yeah, I did read the synopsis for this season the other day. Something about, I think it's the best like winners or something.
Best of the best. But it's still the Grandmasters of Australia at the most.
Yeah.
Are you saying that these Australians are the best?
I think it was the last season or the season before they had 2 teams return from Australia who'd won, and then like winning teams from the other Lego Masters come on, like from America and other places. So it was like all the countries. So I think this is just Australia now. I could be wrong, but
all right. Best Structured Reality Program. The nominees are Farmer Wants a Wife, Gogglebox Australia, Married at First Sight, Muster Dogs, Golden Bachelor, The Hospital in the Deep End.
Hospidogs? What'd you say?
The Hospital in the Deep End or Muster Dogs?
Muster Dogs. I'm picking the dogs, man.
Fair enough. Best Lifestyle Program. Getaway, Grand Designs Australia, Love It or List It Australia, Selling Houses Australia, The Dog House Australia, or Travel Guides.
Travel Guides?
Okay. Best News Coverage or Public Affairs Report. Bondi Terror Attack, 7 News and Sunrise, Fighting Back, A Current Affair, Hammered Inside the Bunnings Machine, 4 Corners, Iran War, 7 News, Out of Order, 60 Minutes, or Virginia's Final Wish, 60 Minutes.
4 Corners?
Best factual or documentary program, but also John Clark. Revealed Death Cab Murders. Revealed Joe, the Last King of Queensland. The Assembly. The People vs. Robodebt. The Secret DNA of Us.
Mushroom Cut Murders?
Death Cab Murders? All right. Best sports coverage. Melbourne Cup Carnival. Men's and Women's State of Origin Series. AFL Grand Final. The Australian Open. The Milano Cortina 2026 Olympic Winter Games. Or the Ashes 2025-2026.
Bloody love the Ashes, mate. Let's fucking rock them then, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Hit 'em in
all them bowlers and the, what are the other ones?
the front kneecappers. I can't remember what I said.
All right, final category. Best children's program. Nominees are Do Not Watch This Show, Dreaming Big, Ginger and the Veggie Saws, Hard Quiz Kids, Knee High Spies, and Play School. Wow. Throwback to the
Bring them back, baby.
old days. All right.
Bring them back.
All right. How many of those shows have you actually watched?
Of which ones?
Of any of them?
Oh, 10%.
Okay, that's a fair number. I think it's interesting, especially
More
in the
than you.
acting. That's true. It's interesting in
know
a lot
that.
of the drama stuff, like almost exclusively streaming stuff, except for what's being presented by the ABC or the SBS. They're the only ones producing great Australian drama, you know, which is why we need to keep those around and funded.
It is. Well, yeah, I mean, look, I just literally just talked about watching an ABC documentary, didn't I? So,
all right, let's talk about some trailers in this week's Thumbs for Trailers. Of course, we find all the show notes, all the trailers in the show notes below. Kicking things off, we've got Hexed, directed by Jason Hand and Fawn Sunthorn. Starring Haley Steinfeld, Rashida Jones, Tracy Ullman, and Stephen Fry. Billy, an impulsive and unconventional teenage girl, discovers magical abilities that take her from suburbia inside into Hex, a realm of witches. With her cautious mother, Alice, she investigates family secrets connected to the world of witches. Dylan, what do you think of the first teaser for the latest film from Walt Disney Animation?
Old Walt Disney Animation. I'm going to go one up, one down. It looks good visually, setup wise, and just general vibe wise. Doesn't feel too unique to me. Doesn't feel super exciting. One up, one down.
I'd also go one up, one down. I feel like it is, it definitely feels like a little bit of a retread or something we've seen before. I mean, maybe it's just because we had Agatha all along, like a couple of years ago, not that long ago, like a show heavily featured witches and that lore and that kind of stuff. I think also like the Little Red Riding Hood kind of look of her in the world. I think, whether that's supposed to like evoke certain things, all of that kind of stuff. But I think it looks solid. It looks fine. Kind of what you would expect from Walt Disney Animation. So, Hexed is coming to cinemas on the 26th of November. Next trailer is for The F Ward, created by Dan Edwards and Kelsey Munro, starring Anna Friel, Ione Sawala, Lola Bond, Dan Wiley, Alex Fitzalan, Emma Barclay, Annie Boyle, and Rishabh Kern. Follows a group of medical interns sent to the underfunded Pines Hospital in Sydney for one final chance to complete their medical training. Here they must overcome the insecurities, their past, and their own expectations in a hothouse environment where the stakes are life and death. Dylan, you're not a fan of medical dramas, but you're a big supporter of Australian television. What do you think of the trailer for The F Ward?
Correct on both fronts. Double thumbs up. Keen to watch this. It looks good. I like it's got a unique little setup, different sort of cast of characters for a medical drama that you would compared to the ones you'd usually sort of see, which is good. Dan Wiley never ages. That's crazy. Yeah, obviously got some people involved in it, both cast and behind the scenes and everything that I enjoy their work. So double thumbs up.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to give it 2 thumbs up as well. I think it looks really good. Obviously, it's not the pit, but it looks like it'll be a pretty fun time. I think it's an interesting setup of all these almost reject med students who have their own personal issues that they've clearly got to overcome. And obviously, well, in the trailer, they say one of them was thrown up inside a patient, and it's that's fun to joke about, but also disgusting to think about. And all that kind of stuff. And it looks like it's really cool. It's interesting to see Anna Friel in an Australian drama series, despite being someone I've seen in international TV shows and films and that kind of stuff. So, yeah, very intrigued by this one. The F Ward, which is a hell of a title, coming to Stan on the 17th of July. The next trailer is for Hotspot, and I apologize for pronunciation of these names. It's directed by Agnieszka Schmotzinka, starring Andreas Konopka, Renumi Rapace, and Reka Kirishimima. In a near-future society ruled by sentient AI, a private eye who's investigating a murder case encounters a rebel group that's capable of undermining the digital overlord. Dylan, what do you think of the trailer for Hotspot?
Don't know what's going on, but double thumbs up as far as the trailer goes. It's got a vibe. It's got a visual style. It's got a weird looking lead. I don't know what's good. I don't know the lead. I don't know. I have lots of questions, but I was entertained by this trailer, so double thumbs up.
Yeah, I'd have to give it 2 thumbs up as well. It definitely, there's a reason it's on this list. It's just caught my eye. Just there is just something about it that is interesting and kind of setting up the world of compute technology kind of controlling everybody. I know it's it is actually in a lot of stuff, but I think this does it in kind of an interesting way. And yeah, everybody looks really interesting. There's some cool visual shots and that kind of stuff. So definitely an intriguing indie film coming up. Hotspot is coming to US cinemas on the 25th of August. No Australian release date. Next trailer is for The Westies, created by Chris Brancato, Chris Brancato, Michael Paynes, starring J.K. Simmons, Titus Welliver, Jessica Francis Dukes, Tom Brittany, Stanley Morgan, Sarah Bulger, and Alan Leach. In 1980s Hell's Kitchen, New York, 2 men who knew each other from childhood take differing paths, with one a police officer and the other a member of the Westies criminal gang. Dylan, what do you think of the trailer for The Westies?
I'm going to double thumbs down. Looks super generic. Wasn't doing a lot for me. I think it will get cancelled after 1 season. Vibe all about it. Plus, the audio was cooked on the trailer, and that pissed me off.
I'll give 1 up, 1 down. It does look really generic, but J.K. Simmons. So, it does look like everything it kind of described. I can't remember what. I think it was in the open. It's Gods of Harlem, no. And what's the
It's Godfather.
Peaky Blinders. Yeah. Godfathers of Harlem and Peaky Blinders.
And Peaky Blinders, yeah.
And it does give those vibes, but clearly set in, 1980s New York.
It gives
with a bunch of Irish people.
those vibes. B tier those vibes.
Well, I don't think it's surprising that this was originally on, or is coming to MGM Plus, which is not the highest standard of streaming service you could get. So, yeah, I think it looks fine. If this is the kind of stuff you're into, this is probably something you'll enjoy. So The Westies is actually coming in Australia to Stan on the 12th of July. Final trailer for this week. Spider-Man, Brand New Day. Directed by Destin Daniel Cretton, starring Tom Holland, Zendaya, Sadie Sink, Jacob Batalon, John Barenthal, Tremel Tillman, Michael Mando, and Mark Ruffalo. Following Dr. Stephen Strange's spell at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home, the world has forgotten that Peter Parker exists. 4 years later, Parker anonymously protects New York City as the hero Spider-Man and investigates a new threat while his superpowers undergo a surprising and potentially dangerous evolution. Dylan, what do you think of this latest trailer for Spider-Man Brand New Day?
One up, one down. I think it was fine. I don't think it particularly did much more to excite than the first one. Plus, I don't know. It's that combination of like not being more exciting, but then also showing stuff I wish I hadn't seen, which sort of is like
Like
an
what?
odd balancing act. I don't know. I didn't need to see the Hulk flying out the window, the Hulk getting controlled by the whatever the bad guy is or whatever's going on there. Punisher on the boat hiding MJ, him flying through the city of MJ. So like, there's just some stuff. I'm like, that's fine. I didn't need to say that. Why not one down?
This is 2 thumbs up from me. I think it's a really good trailer.
You're biased.
I am biased. Give me the Spidey. But I think this. We got to remember this is about selling this movie to people. You didn't need to be sold anymore on what this movie is going to be because you're already going to see it. So, I feel like it gave us a little bit more information, like clearly setting up why Ned and MJ are still in this universe and still being how they're going to kind of get worked back in to being connected to Peter and that kind of stuff. We got a tease as to who Sadie Sink is playing. She appears very briefly, and now the internet theories are running wild as to who she could potentially be, with a bunch of interesting theories coming to light. And yeah, get to see how Mark Ruffalo is going to kind of feature in the film as well, and also still not explaining what's up with Peter. So I think there's still a lot of mystery left in the film. Like, why the fuck is the hand involved, and what's going on with Peter, and who is Sadie Sink? Who is this bad guy? Why are they fucking with Peter? And that kind of stuff. So it looks good. Get a little bit more of Punisher as well, and they're back and forth, their banter. They put out a little featurette of the fun that, John Barenthal and Tom Holland have had because there's a long history between them and that kind of stuff. So, yeah, this trailer has got me even more excited to check it out when it comes to cinemas on the 30th of July. All right, let's move on to this week's top 3.
Definitely in the top 3.
And with Supergirl about to hit cinemas, becoming the next star within the DCU, this week's top 3 is top 3 characters the DC needs to do next. Dylan, what's your number 3?
Well, let's go. My number 3 is Huntress. I will spoil that 2 of my characters are from the world of Batman. Sorry, bias. Anyway, the first one's Huntress. Obviously, the daughter. Oh no, it's a small character. Daughter of a mob boss who then sort of turns into her own. We're calling it anti-hero, I guess. She would fall under. Yeah, a bit. Yeah, very cool character in the comics. Cool outfit, purple outfit, released in one variation. So more points from me. That's another common thing for characters I like if they wear purple. Yeah, Huntress.
We're just accepting the Birds of Prey isn't part of the DC.
Yeah, it's not right.
We haven't confirmed or denied it yet.
Well, I've assumed it's not. So look.
Yeah, probably not. Which is a shame. Because Mary Elizabeth Winstead was great as Huntress in that movie. My number 3 is Zatanna. Obviously,
my number 2 is Zatanna.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Obviously a magic user. Like, she's got this very iconic, like, magic get up with the fishnet stockings and that kind of stuff. But I think, especially if they're wanting to explore various different sectors of the DC universe, I think she could be a very interesting character to introduce. And I feel like there's a lot of potential for different genres to tackle with her. Whether you want to go more in the Clayface kind of direction of potentially a horror-esque film with the magical elements of that world and that kind of stuff. So I think as someone who has not been brought to a live action feature yet, she's popped up in like Smallville and that kind of stuff, but not getting proper due diligence. I think she would be an interesting character to introduce to the DCU. What was your rationale?
Yeah, I want the magic side of the DCU to be introduced sooner than later because it's they're always too scared to go there, and I think they're already like setting up a more wild and interesting universe where I think you could get into the magic stuff better. But I would definitely, when I'm pitching it, I'm pitching more of the dark universe sort of stuff for her. I still think you can have fun with that character, and she can be this wild personality, and I don't know, she brings some sexiness or whatever that if you don't cast the right person, that the fuckboys online will get upset about. But there's a lot of potential for that character to do very well for multiple reasons.
Yep. My number 2, Wonder Woman. Just, I feel like you need to establish if you're
Oh, sorry.
you're quickly establishing the other two of the Trinity already, with Batman and Brave and the Bold, and you've already got your Superman. Just get your core figures in this universe out as quickly as possible. Also, then we can stop all the speculation about who's going to play Wonder Woman. I think that's as good enough reason as any to get her up and running in this universe as quickly as possible. Dylan, what's your number 1?
Batgirl Burnside, which is one of my favorite comic book runs. So that version of Batgirl, that's the one I want. Make it happen. Thank you.
My number 1 is Oracle.
There you go. Different sides. I want Batgirl out and about, living time, going, hanging out with her friends.
Yeah, and I want disability representation.
Yeah.
So who's right and who's wrong? I don't know.
You be the judge.
I feel like if they're planning to do Brave and the Bold, which is an older Batman with Damian Wayne, Robin, it makes sense to have Oracle being the person in the chair, like running operations within Gotham City, keeping all the Bat family in line and keeping them in check and that kind of stuff. And then you can go back and do the flashback movie before she loses her ability to walk and that kind of stuff, potentially. If you even want to go that route, maybe she was always in the wheelchair. That might be a less tragic way to do that. And she just wants to help Batman. So I think all of them great characters who could be hopefully introduced soon. All right, Dylan, this week, what do you want to watch?
Well, obviously, in the cinemas, I would like to watch Supergirl. Sorry, I nearly said Batgirl, and I was like, what am I talking about? That's not what we're talking about.
Sure.
Supergirl, yes. On the streaming front, I was trying to confirm the title before I got it wrong. I would like to watch Life, Larry, and the Pursuit of Unhappiness, which we talked about last week, and I thought looked fantastic.
Mm-hmm. I'll also say Supergirl, and then to be different, I'll say Minions and Monsters. Of course, Supergirl, a film we'll be discussing over on All New DC Cast, where we've been doing our Supergirl rewatch of a lot of the live-action Supergirl appearances. But then Minions and Monsters, we've been talking about over on Annabelle Wonders, where we've been rewatching all the films in that Despicable Me franchise. So we will be having a spoiler discussion over on that after the film comes out. But on the TV front, The Bear season 5 drops this week in its entirety, the final season. How are they going to keep that restaurant alive or not alive? I don't know what's going to happen. They left a very interesting plot last season, but then the trailer kind of is not addressing that straight away. So yeah, I'm very excited to check out the final season of The Bear. Let us know what you want to watch this week by going to explosionnetwork.com/follow and let us know on social media. If you want to help us out here at What Do You Want to Watch, leave us a review on our podcast or on Podchaser. Leave us 5 stars. So you can leave 5 stars and just tell people about the show. And if you want to help us out at Explosion Network with our multitude of different podcasts that I plugged this episode or our other written content, head over to explosionnetwork.com/support. Thank you very much for listening. Until next time, keep watching stuff, I guess.